Hello, friends and crew from Pretty Profundo. I'm so happy to be here this evening because I have a very special guest. This is a very dear guest for me. I'm quite a fan, and this is Tarot Lumination. Hello.
Greetings, 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 Pretty Profundo. Hi, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, it's a pleasure to have you here. Thank you for having me and be part of this project. So there's so many things I want to talk to you. First of all, I want to tell you that I'm a love triber.
Yay.
I'm a member of Tarot Lumination, very proud to be a member. And I also want to tell you that I'm a fan.
Yes.
I found you as a tarot reader. I know you have a lot more tricks in your bag. You're a very talented musician, tarot reader,
Yes, yes.
spiritual coach, and many other things.
Yeah.
But we're going to start from basically from what I believe that people knows you better. That is right now the tarot.
Okay.
So I love that name, Tarot Lumination. Where does that come from?
Okay. I don't know if anyone's ever asked that question before. You're catching me off guard. So
That's the way it works here.
okay, well, I will tell you exactly what happened. I was walking down one of my local streets one day where it's all super hip and trendy, and there's this like little mystical bookshop, and I went through an evening there, and it was all about expanding your psychic abilities. And we've talked before about this, I think, where I used to work as a consultant for psychics and mediums, and I got sick of everything. So I went away, but I got a strong push from my angels to go into the event. And I came out the other side very, very, let's say, changed. And I realized, oh my gosh, there's no way out. We're going to have to do something. What am I going to do? This means, oh no, I'm going to have to open a freaking YouTube channel. Oh no. And then I wandered up and down the street, and I went to one of the little cafes nearby, and I sat there and I put my head in my hands, and I thought, I don't know what to do. I mean, this is silly. I mean, this is the last thing I ever wanted to do. But as typically what happens here, I kind of got a nudge on my shoulders and my arms, and they basically said it was just like having a person coming up to you, like a stranger in a cafe, and they said, it's Tarot Lumination. Okay, and that was it. I didn't think I thought it up at all. I felt like one of my angels came up and basically put an arm around my shoulder and said, it's Tarot Lumination.
Wow.
Okay, and that was it.
That is a fantastic story behind the name of the channel. I'm glad I asked you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
I want to get some clarification, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of your fans and listeners are also maybe want this clarification. When you say that you were a medium consultant, what are we talking about here?
Oh, it gets very weird and wobbly. I think we might have hinted that I spent a lot of years in Hollywood and TV and movies and things like that, and I don't have any kind of huge profile or anything, so don't bother going. But I used to work for quite some time I got hired out of word of mouth and a recommendation because of previous experience with some friends of mine. And she called me up and said, hey, there's a really cool job going on with this show, this TV show, and they're looking for a consultant who can help them with their psychics and mediums who are wigging out. And also there are other shows where they do these events out in the streets with people to witness and experience live psychic events. And I went, oh no, please. And then she said, oh, seriously, it's really good pay. You'll love it. And I said, okay, well, I'm desperate for a job. So, okay, I did it. I signed up. They were very happy. And I became the consultant on that show.
Wow.
in LA, they call it a technical advisor. So I became that technical advisor. So I was that person who was just always shadowing the director or the psychic or the stars of the show or the kids or the moms or the people or whoever was involved in the show. And I just had to pay very close attention. And if the producers or the director or the psychic or the medium had a problem and they couldn't solve it, they would come to me and I would give them my feedback.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, it gets very weird from there. There's a lot of weird stories from there. Yeah, but that's basically how that happened. And so, yeah, I did that. That was my job. And there were several occasions where I had to deal with like celebrity psychics who were like completely wigging out because they're on camera. Like, oh my God, I'm going to get outed. And it was just, there was just so many nightmare situations about, and I eventually I had to leave the show because I realized that, because I never watched the show. I'm sorry to admit I never watched it. But I was told by a couple of friends of mine who watched it because they're in the industry, and they said, "Hey, do you have any idea what the producers are doing with this show? They're actually trying to trash people. They're trying to spoof and out the psychics and the mediums, and so they're making it set up like when the events are happening. Oh, look, we're going to do that and that and that, and we're going to do these wonderful psychic things and medium stuff, and everything's going to be awesome." And then they edit and retweak everything so it looks like it's a disaster. It's just like, basically how to embarrass people on camera. And so that the audience has a really good laugh and they can point fingers and go, "Ha, I knew it was just a scam." Ha! That kind of thing. Very important.
Wow. That went south fast. Wow.
Yeah, I was only on the show for about a year, and I decided to walk well away when we started getting into Ouija boards and moms and dads and kids and their families showing up. It's almost impossible for me to describe some of the mayhem that was going on in the spirit realm. We talk about that
right
on the channel, where in reality, there is a veil between what we think of as our three-dimensional world and then everything and anything else that's beyond that. And seriously, a lot of people who come to the Tarot Lumination channel, and probably for you too, they are already aware that the veil between what we think of as life and what we think of as the great beyond, the veil is about as thin as a piece of fine silk. It's it's almost invisible. That's the problem. We perceive it as a massive disparity. Like there's the world and then there's heaven and there's all the angels. The reality is it's like that. The whole thing is one massive mushy blob.
Will you say that this was affecting your energy? Because of course, you're an empath. Most spiritual people and of course readers have very highly intuition. So will you say that was affecting you?
I would say yes. The actual process wasn't affecting me. What I was not enjoying was being exposed to everything across the veil that is unhealthy. Okay? When everybody thinks about the veil, like they think about angels and God and heaven and my lost puppies, my dead relatives and aunts and uncles and my lovers from the past lives and my lovers from the future and everything like that. But there's everything else as well. It's just like if you're walking downtown or something, there's a bank robbery over here, or there's some nuisance over there, or there's a bunch of people that creep you out. It's the same thing over there.
Wow.
So you have to, when you are fully exposed, when you are across the veil and you're operating in that veil and there's no filters, you are exposed to all of the doo-doo over there as well as all of the good stuff. But the thing is, a lot of the spiritually active people and aspirants, people who want to do all that, either they're not aware of it or they don't allow for it. And when they get exposed to it, like when somebody goes through a massive life change, like a trauma or a cathartic event, or they do years of practice in order to open up their spirit, and they finally do cross over and it's not what they thought, and they start to feel like they're going insane, or like, what's happening? I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things, it's not like what I thought. Oh my God, what's happening? It gets weird, and I'm just like anybody else. I just want the sweet stuff. I had to shut all that stuff down, and I had to learn how to develop my filters to a much more extreme level than I had before. And I already have a lot of what I think of as guardian angels. So to take it to the next extreme, oh my gosh, it was a lot of work. It took years.
So talking about this, I want to recall a moment that it's been stuck in my mind, and I think in my heart too, because there's so many tarot readers in YouTube, and I guess everywhere, but not everybody does it with their soul, really a reading that you can see through that reader. You can feel their soul. You can feel that they're doing it not for the fame, not for the likes, not for the money. They're just doing it because it's part of service,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can recall a moment that it really, really, that's really when I became really a fan. You did a reading for cancer, and you started to cry. You started to cry, and I was so touched. I was like, I'm not a cancer. I was just checking the video, and you started to cry, and I went like, oh my gosh. Seems like
Yeah.
you really felt, and you really feel every single word that you say, that you live what you're reading. Is like you're living that moment, that energy, and that's really powerful. But at the same token, where we're talking about duality, I just want the candy stuff, I just want the light and not the dark.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that, and how do you protect yourself as a reader when you have a heart? Over there, you can see your heart when you read. How do you protect it?
Actually, you've touched on a very delicate subject.
This is what we do in Pretty Profundo.
Well, here's another thing, is that for some reason or other, we get quite a lot of visitors over here at Tarot Lumination who are like what I think of as super advanced beings. They're already operating in the psychic realms. They're already energy healers, Reiki, yoga, already advanced in this, and already working like in the arts or something, where I think of as very, very rarefied energy, where it's often very, very hard to navigate, and where people in those kind of realms become very vulnerable to like what you could call, some people call like, psychic attack. Ouija boards or something, or disparate beings from the other side who are disruptive and stuff. Just like ending up walking down an alley and discovering, there's a bunch of gangbangers at the end, and I don't have my taser and I don't have my mace with me. So about the protection, the reality is that I already knew from previous experience that once you open up your spirit and your heart to this realm, you are fully exposed. So how do you, let's just say you're an aspiring psychic medium or a spiritualist or like an energy healer, and you just want to do good. You love doing this stuff. You've met a few of your angels, and you are on path, and you want to do something with that. A lot of people have this tremendous urge to want to heal and serve and improve humanity, and that's great. When you do that, at these kind of frequencies, you're heavily exposed to a lot of very toxic stuff from the other side that's invisible. So how do you protect yourself? Well, only answer I have right now is, number one, I do a lot of self-healing. I call it self-healing. It's a lot of work. At least 5 days a week, I probably put in about an hour every morning. It's just like, yoga junkies and jogging junkies and fitness junkies and gym rats. They have to go off and do this stuff You get in, they're up at 5:30 in the morning, they do their gym, they're all sweaty,
Right.
they go back and they put on their suits and ties or whatever. So I do my own little miniature version of that. And the whole idea is to get my whole being into a highly precise format where I call it energy management, where I am able to receive all the good information, all the good, what I think of as healing power of love frequencies that are appropriate and healthy. And I develop very, very fine filters to keep all the CRAP out of it as much as possible. That's my personal physiological stuff that I do in my self-healing, which is what I'm starting to share in tiny, tiny amounts on the first Fridays.
Yeah, that's what I want to tell you. I want to mention everybody that I was the last Friday and your first Friday healing event. And it was really amazing because I had the opportunity to have a little flavor of what you're talking about right now.
So that's what I'm sharing with you guys now, but it's very private and it's very weird and it's unconventional. So I've been very, very cautious and lacking in confidence about sharing them. But the other reality is that on this side of the screen here, physiologically, I'm just like everyone else. I have to live through my body, and I'm very, very conscious of like the energy fields and the layers around the body, and that's what we work with in healing and self-healing. But I'm also very aware that I have either it's just sheer luck, or maybe I inherited this, or maybe I earned it or something in past lives or future lives. But I have a massive team of guardian angels. And one day when I met a really powerful psychic, seriously heavy duty, but he was a professional, and he saw what I had, he completely freaked out because he wasn't used to that kind of stuff. It's as though I'm very fortunate, and like I feel I have like literally a team of guardian angels that have mind-boggling abilities. It's like I can get to a point where I can completely surround myself in what appears like, if I could describe it, it would be like a sphere that is so like condensed and so strong and it becomes very reflective that nothing can get in. Do you know those little animals called armadillos?
Of course, they're cute.
You know those little creatures? I call them wood lice. They're about this big and they're gray and they wiggle around with about 20 legs. And if you see them, they curl up in a little ball. You know?
Okay. I know the armadillos, but I don't know the little tiny thingy with all those legs.
It's like a little worm. I used to call them wood lice. And if they get scared, they go and they cover themselves in a little ball. And it just looks like they're like a little pebble on the ground or just a little seed or something.
I think I've seen them.
Yeah. And then once they feel that it's safe to come out, they unwrap themselves and then all their legs come out and they just wiggle on. And so that's what happens to me. I get a shield that comes around, and it acts like a highly protective filter. Not only that, it's actually extremely resilient to extremely hostile energy that exists on the other side. Because believe me, it does exist.
I know.
I have that. I'm very, very lucky, but I have to nurture it. I have to respect it. You can't take it for advantage. So now, that's my own self-protection. That's how I protect myself. I'm not saying everyone else has that or can do that or should do that, but it is possible because that's what I have.
That's really important. And there's something also I want to talk about, something that you say all the time, and I believe that is really important to talk about, because I believe that the healing needs to start with our own selves. You have to love yourself in order to be able to love everybody. You have to heal yourself in order to be able to heal everybody. And you talk a lot about something that I love, is about love thyself. So can you explain us a little bit more? What does that mean for you?
It's the hardest thing to understand, the hardest thing to do, that I've ever encountered in my own personal life. And when I do a lot of personal readings here, and uh, it's really, it's like, oh, it's, I mean, I'm learning a lot as I go too, but it's really kind of a profound experience to come to this realization almost in every situation. The ultimate answer is love thyself. But the question is, how? What does that look like? How do I love myself? What does it mean? I mean, it sounds so contradictory because, we've talked about this before in private, where, people are conditioned to heavily compromise themselves or dumb themselves down just to go along, to get along, and everything turns into this like low frequency mush.
Correct.
And what can often happen is that you start realizing, wow, I'm actually self-sabotaging. And just instead of loving myself, I am actually self-harming. People do jobs that they absolutely hate, and they wonder why they end up with cancer or systemic, hideous, life-threatening diseases, or they wonder why they end up becoming alcoholics, or whatever it might be. And, there's so much pressure to function in a certain way.
Correct.
A lot of times what happens here at the channel is people arrive, and because it sounds kind of weird, but it's like, I don't know how else to describe it. It's almost like Tarot Lumination is like it's the last stop. Where do you go? Because I've had professional healers can come here, professionals, very wealthy people, very poor people, super high-powered professionals, super ultra brainiacs, corporate honchos, moms, kids, teenagers, housewives, guys, all the stuff. But in the end, we can go round and round forever in the tarot and pull this reading and that reading, but ultimately it comes down to love thyself, because without that, it's just a question of degree. Degree. Tarot Lumination has to work at it on a daily basis. But my personal feeling is to love thyself is essentially doing the most honorable thing that you can to be you, so that you are oscillating, resonating, transmitting, and receiving energy at the highest levels of integrity that is possible for you as an individual. Forget everyone else. Forget the rest of the planet. Forget the kids, the lovers, the ex-husbands, the new lovers, your jobs, your commitments, obligations, contracts, credit cards, mortgages, car payments, college loans, whatever it might be. Ultimately, what is right for you, not necessarily in a self-serving way, but what your deepest gut heart tells you. And that's very hard to do for a lot of people. It's just.
I agree with you 100%. And I think that this is a topic that needs to be there, and we have to talk about it more and more, because we need to create awareness. I mean, in this society, when you love yourself or you put yourself first, it's tend to be seen like you are selfish.
Exactly.
And that's so wrong. I mean, that's such a belief system that I feel that at this point, and the shift in humanity and the planet, it's not longer acceptable.
It is not, because I just saw some, to me it was horrific. I don't watch the news anymore. The nearest I get is checking the Weather Channel every day for a couple of locations where I have friends and family and loved ones. And that's it. And if I catch a glimpse of something there and it takes me to something curious, then I might follow that. But normally I'm doing everything I can to love myself better. And that makes me, oddly enough, it actually works. I become more effective as Tarot Lumination. I become more valuable to myself and to others, and I provide a better service. So I'm a living example of what works. But I have to understand it's very contradictory to my own experience, because I was just as insane and self-destructive and full of self-sabotage as anybody out there, any of the clients who've come here or anything like that. And so I know the shadow side of all of this. Mm-hmm. And so when I was watching this little clip somewhere about love and sexuality and relationships in different parts of the world, I was just heartbroken to see how everybody's essentially living in these, it's not deliberately self-sabotaging behavior patterns, but in these very sterile, what's the word I'm looking for? Heartless, soulless situations. It's where almost like all the love is being stripped out. And so people, like millions of people are living like zombies, living like automatons, robots. Like you do this, you do that, you eat this, you sleep that, you do it here, over there, you go over there, and then you die. And then
Right.
what happened? And then you're on the other side, you're thinking literally, what the heck was that? I was like 62 years old or something, or I was 17, or I was 105, or
Right.
and then you have to come back here and figure it out. It becomes a puzzle. And when you love thyself, here's one of the things that I learned from my brother. My brother is not interested in any of this stuff at all, but he is a very successful person, a completely different, radically different life and lifestyle. And he's extremely good at love thyself, but you never know because he's extremely modest, extremely almost invisible. He's always concerned about taking care of himself, minding his own business, and the ones that he loves, basically his wife and his kids. And it's mind-boggling, like when he was, I don't know, he had an amazing contract at the Olympics once when there were these massive bombings and explosions. And he basically sat there, we talked about the story, and the only thing he cared about is like, am I still alive? Yes. Is my crew still alive? Yes, good. Okay, that's good. Let's just keep going, folks. What do we do now? He's very good at just basically say, mind your own business. Take care of yourself. Love yourself. That doesn't mean being selfish and mean and greedy and a narcissist and an egomaniac. It means literally mind your own business. Love thyself. Do the most loving things that you can for yourself. Make yourself healthy. Make yourself true, authentic, so that you are true, like heart, body, mind, and soul are all aligned as one. Body, mind, heart, and soul, all aligned as one. So you're not just living through your head and everything else is just some like dissociated freakoid being.
Yeah, and I think that's why for me it's so important that we talk about this because you cannot change what you don't acknowledge. So when you are aware of certain things, you start thinking about them and reflecting about it, and eventually, if you have the strength and the desire, you can change things. That I believe that could happen. Now, I want to play something. I want to just have a little bit of fun. We have been talking about very profound stuff because, of course, this is pretty profundo. Get deep into
Yeah,
the
that's
waters
pretty
of
profound.
consciousness.
Yeah,
This is
uh-huh.
what
I
we
get
do
it.
here.
I get it.
But what we're going to do now is I'm going to tell you certain words, and I want you to tell me the first thing that it brings into your mind. So you
Okay.
need to be quick. I don't want
Okay.
you to, like 2 hours later, everybody's sleeping. No. So
This
I'm
is a
going to start.
test.
Are you ready for me?
Yeah, Tarot Lumination
Are
is
you
being
ready,
tested.
Tarot Lumination?
Got it.
Okay. Money. Money.
Uh, Fluidity, power,
Light. Light.
Light,
Yep.
from heaven,
Tarot.
talent,
Tarot.
tarot. Okay, I'm just going to say something here. I hope I don't offend every other tarot reader on the planet. I'm just going to say the word props. I'm sorry. For Tarot Illumination, the tarot is a prop. It's a way to open the portal to the great beyond. So the tarot is technically a prop. It's a beautiful thing in its own right, but I am not beholden to the tarot itself. The tarot is a tool, and it's a prop, and it works for Tarot Illumination.
Wow. I like that. Reach.
R-I-C-H?
Yes. Are you having fun with my accent? I don't
No,
have an accent.
it's the technology. I just want to make absolutely sure that I'm hearing what I'm hearing.
Rich, like Richie Rich.
Rich. Nature, land, water, trees, warm, clean, good company, sleep, rest, music, art, writing, companionship, campfires.
Destiny.
You're making it every day. You're creating your own destiny every day.
Moon.
Magic, magic. Fear, elemental, shadows, femininity, deep, deep hypersensitivity, cuddling.
Sun.
Happy, light.
Frequency.
Music, harmony, the sweet stuff.
Energy.
I'll do a visual. Energy
Of
is
course
something
you do.
you have to own it in your physical body. It's something that I have to work with every day. I call it energy management. It's taking that energy, all the energy that moves and works, moves through your body, mind, heart, and soul, and then figuring out what to do with it. It's out there. You're swimming in it all day, all the time. You are receiving energy. You are transmitting energy. What is the level? What is your level of certification in what I call energy management? Are you managing your energy? Tarot Lumination does everything possible to try and manage the energy that comes through the hands, the feet, the voice, the physical body, the heart.
Intuition.
Listening, listening, listening.
Society.
Okay, I'm just going to say what I feel. Society needs a lot of work. Oh gosh, I hope that's you.
And that's fine. There's no right or wrong
Yeah,
answers.
I'm just letting this. We need a lot of work. There's an awful lot of work that needs to be done.
Needy.
Meeting, like
No, needy like someone who's needy, someone who's all the time needing something. Affection.
Needy. I'm
Approval.
very careful. I use the word caution. Very, very have to be very, very careful. If your body's sensing neediness from another, I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but be extremely careful. Be very, very, very careful.
Love tribe.
Yeah. Bam, kerblam. Well, I'm sure there's all sorts of love tribes out there. Maybe there's a wine or a fragrance, or maybe there's some kind of supermodel clothing line or something. But we have Tarot Lumination Love Tribe. Thank you very much. And so that this is like a live recording interview and everything. The Tarot Lumination Love Tribe was actually christened by one of the members here, Tarot Lumination. And her, I'll just give you the screen name. It's Abby. And she tuned into the energy here very early on. She figured it out way before Tarot Lumination figured it out. And she gave me a lot of guidance, and she still gives me guidance. Like, you have to understand, it isn't just Tarot Lumination. It's Tarot Lumination Love Tribe, okay? It's completely different. You're not a regular tarot channel, okay? Okay, so you do the Tarot Lumination, but please understand, There's this whole other thing going on. So
I know.
happening here. It's literally like family, and it's actually starting to happen in a very small way, like germinating. There is literally a Tarot Lumination love tribe, and it's remarkable how the members are so supportive and helpful towards each other, how they help each other to heal.
And that is true. And I just want to mention that if you guys are not still live part of the membership, the Love Tribe membership, or you hasn't had a chance to check Tarot Lumination, please do so anytime. But every Sunday, you are live for a bunch of hours. I don't know if it's 3, 4, 5 hours. And you have all these people coming and all this fans of yours. And it's really nice. So it's every Sunday. At what time is it exactly?
Right now, we start at 6 o'clock on Pacific Standard Time, but I'm actually thinking of going to 5 o'clock because it's so late for most of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have to adapt. Thank you for mentioning that.
Compassion.
Compassion? Oh.
Oh.
I can't help it. I have to be so careful with this because I like to, when I feel like I want to hug somebody, I just want to hug somebody. I also learned the hard way that you just can't go and do that all day. It freaks people out. So compassion has to be very, very carefully measured. It's so easy because I see it here so many times with the clients who come here for personal readings and things. It's just like so many people with such big, fat, rich hearts. They're like compassion junkies. And what happens is they're constantly giving so much compassion, but then they're depleting themselves.
Correct.
Time for them, it's so painful for a loving, passionate person.
That's really connected with the last topic we were talking about, the love thyself. There's everything. It's completely connected.
Especially if you're compassionate. Classic examples would be anybody, male or female, if you're very loving and caring and you're constantly caring for others to the point where you are depleting yourself, that's a serious problem. You cannot being a compassion junkie might be okay for a while because it feels so satisfying to get to that threshold in life where you really seriously get off on helping others to heal and grow and evolve. If you turn that into, if you let that turn into an addiction, you can really go downhill very, very rapidly, and you can end up worse off than anybody you're trying to heal.
Right.
Yeah, it's a problem.
And the last word, I know I put you through fire. Sorry about that, but that's what we do here. Pretty Profundo. And the last word will be TL.
Well, I never ever imagined I would ever have like a nickname TL, like letters, whatever it is. I don't know. I kind of like it. People started putting it on the screen like, hey, TL. And I thought, wow, that's cool.
Right.
I really like it. TL, that's kind of cool. It sounds nice. And I kind
of sweet, right?
I'm kind of used to it. I actually like it. I actually like being TL. There's the T, there's the L. I like it.
Right. Yep.
Personal. So, I don't really see myself as Tarot Lumination. I see this more like a phenomenon or like a brand, like it's its own thing. And I'm more like a dad or a mom or a parent of a weird thing. And my job is to nurture this thing. So yeah, there's a person here. There's this, like, I am this blob. I have a head and arms and hands and feet and so on. And it is personal in that I'm the embodiment of Tarot Lumination, but I honestly feel that Tarot Lumination is more like a phenomenon.
So before I forget, now that you're touching your arms and everything, will be maybe potentially the next time Pretty Profundo does an interview with you, can we see your face? Could that be a possibility, or you just want it's a mystery on TL? Who is this man?
Okay, well, that's another conversation. Oh, what's that over there? Oh, look, I better get another one of these. Hold on. I can't remember what we're talking about. Goodbye. Thank you. It's been wonderful.
Okay, so I'm gonna get personal here.
Uh-oh.
What makes you happy, TL? What makes you happy? What brings you happiness?
What makes me happy?
Yeah, what brings you happiness to your soul, to your being, to,
Oh, it's going to get very, very personal here.
I told you I'm going to get a little bit personal, but
It's,
that's what people want to know.
well, this is going to say, oh, this is awkward. Because I have my own energy here, but the reality is Tarot Lumination isn't just Tarot Lumination. There is a lot of the energy that I feel comes through the channel is through another portal. Like there's tiers of it, TIERS, where I am in a what I would describe as a loving relationship with another person that allows me to be this, and in such a way that I couldn't be. And that's kind of what my happiness is. My joy is it's like there's more. Like Tarot Lumination, this thing is very important to me in my life, but there's other things that are more. There's a certain thing that is more important, and that's where I get everything. That's where I get all my nurture, all my sustenance, all my joy, all my happiness, and it's extremely private, and it's my own business. And I love, and I feel so incredibly blessed. And really all I can say at this moment, I don't want to hint at anything else because it wouldn't be fair on my loved one, my loved ones, and because we each have a right to our, I would say, our boundaries, our privacies, and what we consider respectful and courteous. So I'll just leave it at that. My happiness is this, and being here doing this with you, it brings me great joy to be here with you tonight doing this. But there's even more. That's my own business. That's me loving myself. It's nothing to do with anybody else. It's just Tarot Lumination with mystery.
That's awesome. So I would like to ask you, who are your greatest mentors? And doesn't need to be in terms of tarot or spirituality.
Oh, okay. Well, I can name one absolutely for sure. No question about it. Paul McCartney, the Beatle guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I love music. As you probably know, I do have a strong interest in music and art and writing. And I've been exposed to mind-boggling opportunities and things. But for some reason, I have Paul McCartney dreams. He's
okay.
He is like, he's up there with the masters, so to speak.
Have you seen him play? Because he's alive. Have you?
No, I don't. Well, that's the thing. I've never met him, but I have very, very intimate, personal Paul McCartney dreams.
Okay, Paul McCartney, if you are watching this interview, TL wants to meet you.
I'm going to tell. Can
anybody who knows Paul McCartney, just shoot me an email. Let Pretty Profundo know. We will.
Okay. Well,
just saying.
Very, very weirdly, because I've been in the music industry for long ago, and I had the opportunity to get very close to that world, the Lennon-McCartney world, and I was really just a little kid at the time. But that energy infuses me because of his, I see him as a highly advanced spiritual being, where mostly his craft and his work is very selfless about bringing joy to the planet. Good words, good tunes, and good beats that generate happiness, entertainment, laughing, singing, and dancing, which is extremely good for the soul, then the body and the mind and the heart.
That is right.
I resonate very, very closely, and I have Paul McCartney dreams when I'm really, really stressed out. I will guarantee I'll have a Paul McCartney dream, and he will help me figure things out. He comes he's like an archangel for me.
And it's funny that I ask you that and your answer, because this is going to take me to the next topic I want to talk to you, that is about music and the passion that you have for music. I know that you compose. When you go to the Love Tribe and you share those events, we can sometimes have the opportunity to listen to your songs. I want to ask you, if are you the composer of the songs, and also how does this start? I mean, did you study music, or this is just a
Yeah.
hobby? What is this passion in music that you have?
I started very, very young with music. I was always intrigued by the tunes and the words and the beats. And any of the music that you hear on the Tarot Illumination channel is Tarot Lumination. It's very primitive in the production because I'm not a very good producer, but I like to write and perform. And so we're at Tarot Illumination, we're trying to get to the point where we can make the music a more substantial part of the channel and more part of the brand. So it's more fun, so people can become more part of the love tribe. Literally, just like old-fashioned, like just imagine like stories from the like the 50s or the 60s when people were really opening up to the adventure of music and in a very vibrant way. I'd like to rekindle that. I really would like to rekindle the music in terms of good words, good tunes, and good beats. And so I'm going to be doing a lot of work over the next few years to try and grow that part of Tarot Illumination.
So I am wondering, I don't want to put you in the